Hi, I'm David and welcome to Southward Designs. Today we're going to be going through the Pricing for Profit workbook to have a look and see how it might help you in pricing the goods that you make and sell on Etsy or on Shopify, or maybe through your own e-commerce or website. The idea of the workbook is to show you step by step what you need to factor in when you're working out what it costs to make your goods in terms of the physical materials and then your time, and then you add in the profit margin. And towards the end, also a couple of little tools just help to work out whether offering a discount is worthwhile or not, and what effect it has on your bottom line. So we're going to start from the beginning, and the first part is this first tab that is begin here down the bottom, and that's just a logical step. You're entering today's date. We're just going to leave that 1st of January. And you're going to add your business name here. So I'm just going to put in Southward Designs, like so. And then here becomes your start year. Now it could be the calendar year, which I've got here. It could be the beginning of your financial year wherever you are. In Australia, July becomes the beginning of a new financial year. I'm just at the moment going to leave that as it is in January 2022. Your preferred currency is a drop-down box. Oh, sorry, just back up here. January through to December are drop-down boxes as well. And your year, you just type in whatever the year happens to be. So this preferred currency is drop-down box. At the moment, I've got it in there as dollars. You can drop out and have no currency, or you can have pounds, or you can have euro, depending on where you are in the UK, US, Europe, or whatever. So I'm just going to go back to dollars, because I'm recording this in Australia and we use Australian dollars. What are you building here? And that's the next step, the project name. And we're just going to be building some widgets which we're going to be selling online. Now, this next tab here, or sorry, this next entry field here, I've got in there that the hourly rate is $50 per hour. You can put in whatever figure you like, it's up to you. And it'll actually flow through to the rest of the workbook. What's really important in your hourly rate is making sure that you don't undercharge for your time. Now, you might think, well, I'm only starting out, I don't think I deserve to be paid that much. No, you don't, and you're in that learning phase, but you've got to just make sure that you factor in the possibility that when you're making things, it might take a little longer. And so, yeah, you might have a lower hourly rate there, but the time might be longer to build these widgets. But then as you get more skilled, your hourly rate might go up, but you've got efficiencies and you can build widgets quicker than what you could before because you've developed your skills. I'm just going to leave it at $50 an hour. I think that's not unreasonable for someone who's been around for a while and has got a decent set of skills to be able to put to making these things that you're selling online. And then the next thing is your markup. What's your markup percentage? Now, this really does affect your bottom line, and your markup is a figure that I've got in there, 50%, and I use that personally. I use the markup though on everything. So you'll see as we work through the tabs that the markup goes on your time in terms of hours times your dollars, and your cost of the goods that you're buying wholesale. So the markup goes on everything, and I'll just talk a bit more about that a bit later on. So basically you're filling in the yellow fields. So that first one is done. Stage 1 of the worksheet is the begin here. So then we go to all materials pricing. Now stage 2, list here any materials you might use and add your buying costs. So you can see where we added in Southward Designs here. It's come through to this top box just here. So as I said, those selections you make on the first tab flow through to subsequent pages. Now I've already got 3 things listed in here. I've got some brad nails, which is just a type of nail. I just call them nails really. That just makes it easier. Calico, picture frame, thingies, whatever thingies are, and we'll make that 3rd of March. And we buy thingies in packs of 10, and it's an item. Oops, just got to select the drop down box there. So you've got items or meters or centimeters, whatever you want. If none of those fit, well then you can leave it blank, but I'm just going to put in item. So a box of 10 comes in at $15. So that's $1.50 per unit. You'll see that it's just worked out the unit price. Now I'm just going to add in a couple of other things. These are in alphabetical order. Let's assume that you add something in. So 5th of March, doohickey. Whatever a doohickey is, that's what we've bought. We need some doohickeys. These are our wholesale prices that we bought, our bulk prices. Doohickeys come in 25s. They're items, and they're $40 for 25 doohickeys. Now, the reason I've done that, I've put doohickey in, is this column here needs to be in order, in alphabetical order. When you go through to subsequent pages or tabs, when you go through to subsequent tabs, this needs to be in order so that the pricing works out well. So you can see this important instructions just here. Built into the workbook is a little macro. Macro is just an inbuilt series of steps that runs behind the scenes. So if you have a look here, I've got doohickeys and thingies and picture frame, everything's all out of order. So I'm just going to press Control S. And what Control S does is it grabs everything, it looks at that column C, the materials description, and it puts everything in alphabetical order, and it readjusts the price as well. So now we've got doohickeys as the second item instead of the last thing, right the way through to thingies as the last item. So do that, make sure you do that if you add some more raw materials in before you move on to the next tab. So the next tab, project pricing, project materials pricing. Now this is where you choose what materials you'll need for this specific widget build. And this widget build that's come through, again, we called it a widget. So that's reflected up there, and your company or your business name or store name is showing up there too. So in building this widget, I've already got some preset things. I need some, I've got brad nails. Let's just reset that to nails. No, actually thingies. We need some thingies. What else do we need? We need some nails, or nail. That's what I called it, nail. Okay, that's right, doesn't matter. We need 40 nails, and that's going to be at 25 cents each, so that's $10. And then we also need, now you see it's come up blank here, that's okay, it just means that the items are just right at the top. So this is a scroll box that scrolls all the way up and down, and if you've got this page full with items all the way down the bottom there, well then this will be full as well. I've only got those 5 things in there, so that's why here it looks blank. You just scroll up to the top. So we've got calico thingies, nails, we're going to add a doohickey in as well, and we need 2 doohickeys, and they come out at $3.20. So what this has done now is worked out, these are what we need to build this one widget. This previous tab was our bulk buying, so we've got stuff that we can use in future goods builds or item builds. But for this particular item in project materials pricing, we know that the cost of goods sold, the cost of buying everything is $43.44 or €43.44 or pounds or whatever your preferred currency is. So we then move on. It doesn't matter if these items are out of order, by the way, in the materials column. That doesn't matter there. It's just more important on this page for your raw materials pricing, where these important instructions are to run that macro. So now we're going to jump onto time and extras. So this is how long it takes you to build your widget. So we're going to cut stuff, and we're going to glue stuff, and we're going to sand stuff, and we're going to pack it up for postage, and it's going to take 30 minutes to cut, and 20 minutes to glue, and 10 minutes to sand, and then 7 minutes to pack it up. So you've got a total of 67 minutes that you can see just here. And that then follows through here. 67 minutes at your hourly rate is going to be $55.83. So you're a bit over an hour to make this widget. It takes a fair while to build a widget. So at a $50 an hour hourly rate, your time cost is $55.83. Now the extras here, postage and packing extras, and I've got some presets. You can change those because they're in a yellow field. And that's going to be $30 for postage. We're not using express postage. It seems a bit dear for the widget. We'll just change that to 10 because it's not a big thing. But we do need to spend money on boxes and bubble wrap and tape. So I've got that factored in. If there are any other costs that you don't have covered previously, you can add those in here. I'm just going to delete that out because I don't want to blow out the price too much. But what is important is that you factor in everything in terms of your time, but also extras for postage and packing, as well as extras for other costs that you hadn't covered before. So you can see that postage and packing is $20, and there's no other cost here. If there were, I'll just add that $12 back in. That would come through here, but I'm just going to delete it out again because we don't need that in there. So let's move on to the bottom line. So what's the bottom line? The bottom line is how much you should sell your widget for. So looking from here, it's pulled through from the previous tabs, the materials pricing or the cost of goods sold. It's factored in your time at your hourly rate. It's factored in your cost of postage and packing, and it's given you total cost of almost $120. It then adds on your markup, which is $60, which is 50%. So 50% of your cost of total costs is going to be about $60. That gives you your total costs plus your markup, your $119 odd dollars plus your $59 odd dollars comes to $178.91. That is what you should be selling that particular item for based on your time, your hourly rate, and the cost of buying all the materials to build this item. Now, let's talk a bit about, well, first of all, let's talk a bit about your profit margin. Interestingly, you've added a 50% markup, but you've only made a 33% profit margin. So while the markup is 50%, because of the way the formula works for the profit margin, and you can see that in there, price minus costs divided by price, you're only making 33% profit. And this is really important because if you start to offer discounts, those discounts are going to have a big bearing on your bottom line. What do I mean by that? Well, here are some preset discounts. If you add a 10 or a 20 or a 30 or a 40 or 50% discount, you can see instead of $178, your selling price drops down to $161 or $143. Your profit, instead of almost $60, is dropping down to $41 or $23. And your profit margin, instead of being 33%, is 26 or 17%, or a 30% discount will actually reduce your profit margin down to 5%. You're almost at neutral, zero profit. The bottom line, basically, you're almost at a zero profit point. And in fact, here the formula just works out what is your maximum discount that you're going to get to that neutral or zero point. And the answer is, if you gave a 33% discount, that would wipe out all of your markup that you added in. So the message is, think really carefully about giving discounts. And look, it's tempting to throw in a discount, but it really does chew into your bottom line. You can see the effects, as I said, in that little box just down below here. And look, sometimes a discount offered is something you need to encourage a purchaser to buy from you, or it may be that you offer a discount for someone who comes back to buy again from your shop. That's not unusual. That happens a fair bit in Shopify and in Etsy. And often, if I've bought stuff, I'll be offered a discount to come back. But that's coming back to buy something that they wouldn't have necessarily bought before if they hadn't bought the first thing from your shop. So it's not so bad to offer a discount for return customers because you know you're going to get additional sales. So if you want to choose your own discounts, there's some preset figures there in 5% increments from 5 all the way through to 50. You can choose. I'm leaving this blank at the moment. And the reason I'm doing that is that I just want to show you in this instance the maximum profit, because once you've worked all of this out and you've worked out what your price is, you then go to the summary sheet. So what the summary sheet does is pull all the figures through. When you press Control A, which is another macro that's going to run, the macro, when you run it, will go through the spreadsheet and pull out all the relevant figures. So let's do that now. Control and A, keep control pressed, press the A button, and you can see what it's done is it's filled out this line here, and it's got your materials cost and your time and your post and packing and other. So your ideal sell price is listed there with your profit margin. Now that's what you should be selling it at. Well, let's jump back here and let's say you offer a 10% discount. And we go back to summary sheet and we do Control A again. It's shifted down your previous entry to one below, That's what would be the case. You've got a $178 selling price with no discount, but if you're offer a 10% discount, you need to be selling it at $161, and your profit margin is only $41.75. Now, you are making money on your hourly rate as well, but what you've got to bear in mind is your profit margin is what you're making on your own shop. You've got overheads. It may be that the hourly rate you're actually paying to somebody else, not to yourself. And if you're paying to somebody else, you need to cover and factor that in. And therefore you need to make profit on top of all of your costs when you're pricing your goods. So what you've got as the risk taker, if you like, you're taking the risk by having this business, by saying that you can make stuff and sell them hopefully at a profit, and that becomes your profit margin. So look, thanks for watching. I hope you found this useful. For some, visual is much easier to take in than just reading the instructions. And if you have downloaded the workbook, thank you, it's appreciated. You do get the workbook in Excel format and the PDF of the instructions, but hopefully this video will help you understand a bit better how it works as well. Thanks again for watching, and see you next time. Cheers.